This is Wife Material Podcast, episode 10, Average Man to Superman. So, the idea is, most guys who earn a lot of money, who have a lot of resources, house, cars, that kind of stuff, status, resources, options, right? Those are the supermen. The average men, they have, they have money, of course, yeah, they gotta eat, right? They gotta have a roof over their heads, stuff like that. So they'll have, enough to live comfortably, but not extravagantly, So that's the difference between an average man and a Superman, right? And then, of course, there's other types which are way less than an average man. Average man, is good, right? He's an average man, so he still can do things, just not as much or as often as a Superman, but he can do, good enough things. So the thing is that an average man can always become a Superman. So it's just the fact that it's like, being average is not a bad thing because it's sustainable. It tends to be a little bit easier to be an average man. That's why there's more average men than Supermen, right? Because it's easier to be average than it is to be super. To be above average. And there's many factors for why someone will be average versus someone will be super, right? So it's not, even if you take the man part, if you take the whole, gender part out and just make it average versus super, the average woman versus superwoman, right? The idea of that, depending on your mindset and how you live, you're more likely will be, average, or you'll be super, right? Because again, it's about mindset. An average man with a Superman mentality wouldn't be average. Right? He wouldn't be average. His circumstances might be average, but he wouldn't be average because he'd be a Superman, right? At least in the mindset. And then the next step would be him trying to go from the starting position in his life that he started from, which was being an average man, and work his way up to be a Superman. There's some Supermen who already are at that level, who started off as a Superman. And there's cases where a Superman came down to an average man level. But, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on going from average to super. Now, one of the problems that we see in society a lot is that women, modern women, tend to want supermen, right? Men who are high earners, right? Well, not just high earners, high value men, essentially supermen, but they won't give the time of day to an average man. But the thing about an average man, like I already said, is that an average man can become a Superman. It's going to take time. Something has to inspire the average man to change his mindset from being average to being super. He's not, that's why Supermen are rare versus average men. Average men are more common because a lot of times there's no need to be more than average. Being super is very rare. If it was easy to be a Superman, then every man would be a Superman. Or at least the percentage would be higher. There'll be more Supermen than average men. But that's not the case. Because of that, one of two things have to happen. Ladies, I'm speaking to you specifically, is you either, what I recommend is try to get average man, and if you're worthy, he'll become a Superman, right? Because he'll want to do more, he'll want to be more because of you. But it can't be you insisting and requiring him to become super. He has to want to be super on his own. Him being a Superman has to be his own decision because he's the one who has become that. So it has to be his decision. You can want him to be a Superman. You can ask him to be a Superman, to try to become a Superman. But it's still up to him ultimately to make that decision. he still has to become Superman on his own, right? Just like when we tell women, hey, losing weight, being skinny, or fit, or being size 6 or whatever, don't wear makeup, be natural, more natural, whatever. These types of things. It's still up to the woman to decide if she's going to do it. If she's not going to do it, or she's not going to do it. But there is consequences, right? There is conditions that come with that. If you choose not to do certain things, then you don't get certain results. Because by doing certain things, you get certain results, right? You don't get a paycheck from a job if you don't work at the job. You got to work at the job to get a paycheck from the job. You're not going to get a paycheck from Microsoft and never work in Microsoft. You know what I mean? As an example. So you gotta, so if you want a high value man, a Superman, then you gotta put in the work. You gotta be what he wants. That way you get the benefits of what he is, right? Being a Superman. Now, again, like I was saying with the whole average man thing, it's like, it'd be easier to work with an average man, right? Because he's already average, right? And once you get with him, then hopefully you inspire him to want to become a Superman, and then he'll become a Superman, and you'll benefit from that, right? Especially if by being average, he probably won't expect too much, because he already has the mindset of not wanting super per se. Like, he'll attain the status of being a Superman, right? But he doesn't want super. He doesn't want the same thing a regular Superman would want, right? He's an average man, so he likes average things. So if you're an average woman, he'll like you. He'll take you. And then when he becomes super, well, there you go. Now you're an average woman who got a Superman because he became super. The problem is being average and expecting a Superman to want you. It's like, no, he's a Superman. He already was a Superman. Which means his mindset was already set to super, therefore he's looking for super, right? So he's looking for what he wants for his mindset, which was already super. So he's not going to want average, is what I'm saying. If he's super, he doesn't want average. But if he's average, if he's an average man, he'll want average. He'll take average. Even if he wants to be a Superman, if he's an average man who wants to be a Superman, even though he wants to be a Superman, he's working towards that goal, but because he started off mostly as an average man, and he's used to being an average man, he'll accept average. So he'll accept an average woman and take her for the ride for him to becoming a Superman. But most women don't want to take the ride. They don't want to wait. They're impatient. They're selfish. That's part of the problem. It's the selfishness. Women, especially modern women, more focused on what they want and think that they deserve it without any effort, without any work. They think they deserve it by default. Just because they're female, automatically they have to have a high value man. It's like, no, you want a high value man, you have to earn it. You either put in the effort to get a high value man who's already high value, or you'll make a man high value. But what I mean by make is by you being there for him when he was average, and that you just being with him was more than enough to inspire him. That's not a guarantee. Most guys, if they're average, they're more likely going to stay that way. But a lot of times, literally just being with another person tends to, especially a woman, good woman at that. That's another thing. You gotta be a good woman. You can't just be an average asshole woman and think that's going to inspire him to want to be super. If it did inspire him to be super, it's not to take you along for the ride, right? It's for him to get away from you. He'll become super, and then since now he has options, he'll go and go exercise those options, right? And that's your fault for not being worthy of him being super, right? He became super to get rid of you, not to be with you. You want the scenario to be he became super to be with you. He became a Superman so he could be your Superman. You don't want him to be a Superman for another woman. So you need to make sure you're worthy of him being a Superman for you, of him becoming a Superman for you. So there's that. It's not that different from, starting a small business, right? Like an eBay business, for example, right? Start off an eBay business or Amazon business and start selling some stuff, and then over time scale, right? Go higher, scale up the business until you have a company, right? So the eBay business, right, was average, right? That was your average status. But then once you turn your little average business, right, your little small business into a company, now your company is a super company, right? So you went from average to super, and that, but it takes effort and time. So if you understand that, then you understand that that's the same thing when it comes to men. Now, if a man started off average or even below average, that's another thing. There's guys who start off below average, and it's not their fault they're below average, because it's not like they were average or above or Superman and then just chose to be below average. No, they started off below average, and they more likely want to at least be average, which would be better than be below average. But they, of course, could aspire to be super, right? But it's going to take time and effort. And if someone's willing to assist someone who already is with that mindset and is going that path, that is beneficial, right, to both parties, to him and to her. But a lot of times women don't want to wait to get to the finish line, right? They don't want to run the race to get to the finish line. They'd rather wait at the finish line and let him do all the running and just wait and wait and wait. And then when he finally gets to the finish line, then she wants to be there like, yay, let's celebrate. Yay, I get all the benefits of you winning the race. And it's like, well, that's wrong. Because if we change the genders around, it would be wrong if a woman working her butt off, right, for years and years and years to make something of herself, and then suddenly a guy scoops in like, yeah, I get all this credit for her being successful. Yeah, give me the credit, y'all. I'm the man. Thanks to me, she's successful, right? That would be very, very wrong, right? A lot of women will be complaining about that. But when a woman does it, oh, it's a good thing. It's okay. It's acceptable. It's not a problem. It's like, no, that's bullshit. That's a double standard. Because if a guy did that, he'd be an asshole. He'll be unmanly. But if a woman does it, instead of being unwomanly, it'll be like, oh yeah, of course. That's her standard. If she wants a man who will run a race for her and win for her, that's good. Like, wow. That's bullshit. Okay. That's the way you want to play, then that's the way you want to play. The thing is, since most women are the ones creating that type of scenario, that type of double standard, all right, that's how y'all want to play. Okay, we'll play the game. We're guys. We're competitive. We like games, right? We'll play. We'll play by your rules. Understand that this is your rules. You're the ones who are creating these double standards. So since you want to create these rules, all right, we'll play by your rules. But don't be surprised if we're winning. If we get more out of the situation than you. You're the ones who change the rules. We're just willing to play by them. And we're going to play to win. That's the thing you have to understand. We're going to play to win. We're going to play by your rules, but we're going to play to win. And that's what we've been seeing lately, especially online with podcasts like Kevin Samuels' podcast, for example. The idea is like, all right, bet, you want to play the game. You want to play this game. You want to create, right? You want to change the rules. All right, fine. Play that game. Or change the rules. Dating scene is going to change drastically. Because now our list of demands, as it were, our list of things we expect from a woman is going to get a lot bigger. We're going to have higher standards for you ladies now. And it's your fault. Because we had lower standards. We didn't expect too much. Our standards were lower. Y'all ladies' standards were higher. And we were okay with it because as long as we got what we wanted, which was our low standards, we'll give you the high standards. We'll give you all the extra stuff you want. But now, women don't even want to give the little bit men ask for, but they still want all the shit that they want. It's like, well, nope. There has to be there has to be a mutual agreement. I have to agree to this social contract, as well. I have to agree to this arrangement, which means both. It has to be a win-win scenario. I have to get what I want, and that way you can get what you want. It cannot be you get what you want and I get less than what I want or nothing that I want, and that is wrong. And that's the thing we see with modern women. I even had, a relationship like that where I noticed that a lot of things that I wanted, she knew that I wanted. She understood that, because I was being upfront, like, I want this, I want that. Letting her know what I like and what I dislike. And she made sure that I didn't get the things that I wanted, but doubled up on the things I didn't. So the things I didn't like is what she gave me more of, and gave me way less of the things I did want. So the things I did like, she gave me less of that, and gave me more of the things I didn't like. I was like, that doesn't seem right. It's the total opposite of what she should be doing. This is not feeling like she cares or respects me. This is the opposite of respect and love, right? But that seemed a little weird. But she's still wanting me to do stuff. Still adding to the list of things she wants me to do. It's like, it's interesting. You want me to do all these things, but and I'm doing what I can to supply you those things, but the things you can do for me, you don't do, which are the things that I want. But you deliberately choose not to do those things. Then the irony that after breaking up with her, so I was the one who broke up with her, which is rare because that's not how most relationships for me end. Me being the one who breaks it off. Then I started seeing her, through social media and stuff like that, doing the things that I like, wearing the stuff that I like, involved in activities that I like. It's like, that's interesting. All the stuff that I wanted in the relationship, you're doing it now while we're not together. It's very interesting. So that's the thing. So all right, fine. Dodged the bullet there, as they say, because it was really strange. It's not that you couldn't have done it. It's not like you weren't willing to do it. In general, like this is stuff you obviously can do and would do. You just didn't want to do it for me because that it makes me happy. And it's unfortunate that you didn't want me to be happy, but you want to be happy. It's not right. We both should be happy in the relationship. It shouldn't be one-sided. And it's unfortunate if the reason for it is that you, in your past relationships, you gave the guy what he wanted, and then he didn't give you anything that you wanted, and that would be messed up because it's not fair, right? And I can agree with that he should give you what you want because you are giving him what he wants. But then with me, you decided to not give me anything that I want, but still expected me to give you stuff that you want, and it's like, but is that fair to me? I'm not the one who was against the idea of giving you what you wanted. You should have treated the guys who didn't give you what you want that way. You should have stopped giving them what they want when they were not willing to give you what you want. But with me, who gave you what you wanted to the best of my abilities, you felt you had to deny me what I wanted. And it'd be weird if you thought that was gonna work, like that was gonna be a long-lasting relationship, denying me what I want, and think I'm just gonna keep willingly give you what you want. It's like, no. Once it becomes obvious that it's a one-sided relationship where I'm giving and all you do is receiving and you don't give back, then that's just a waste of my time. Not a waste of your time because you're getting something out of it, but it is a waste of my time because I'm getting nothing out of it. Nothing but the obvious feeling of like, yeah, it feels like I'm being used, and that's not right. So, time to move on. I did. So that's why it's important, ladies. If you want a Superman, treat him accordingly. Want him to become super from, start, want an average man to become super, you got to treat him like, you know, he can be super. Treat him good, make sure that everything is, to a certain degree fair, as in if he's treating you good, make sure you treat him good in return, because men, we do reward um, a kindness. Men are pretty simple, especially with me. I like it when I do something for somebody and it makes them happy. And if it makes them happy, it makes me happy. And I always want to make them happy. So if I start seeing that my significant other doesn't seem happy, I will try to find out what's wrong and then try to fix it. Because I will want them to be happy. Because it just, especially if I'm happy, right? If I'm happy all the time and my significant other isn't, something's wrong there. So I got to find out what's wrong. Why is my significant other not happy? We're hanging out together. We're doing things together. I'm happy, so they should be happy because the environment, the energy, as it were, right, should be happy energy. But if they're not happy, then I need to find out why. And then come up with a compromise. And that's another thing, especially back to my last relationship, was the factor of I compromised a lot. It's the win-win scenario. I'm trying to find a way we can both get something. Because I'd rather get something than nothing. So it's like I'll compromise, which of course is me taking less and giving up more type scenarios. But it's because like most men, well, we rather have something than nothing. So if I have to compromise and do things that I normally wouldn't do just because I'm trying to make her happy, I'll do it because it'll make her happy, and if she's happy, like I said, I'm happy. But if it gets to a point where it's like, okay, no matter what I do, no matter how much I compromise, it seems to not be enough, then the problem isn't that I'm not compromising enough, is the fact that the person just wants either more than I'm giving them, or they just don't want to be happy, as it were, right? Like me trying to compromise to make them happy is not enough, because it will never be enough, because they actually prefer to be that way. And there could be other reasons, right? These are things that have to be taken into account. The person can have, depression, mental issues, and stuff like that. So those are factors that need to be taken into account later on. And that's for a whole different kind of, episode, right? Some people have mental issues, and that definitely affects the, man and woman relationship thing. So that's a factor. That's for a totally different conversation. Right now, I just want to focus on if everyone is at least at a normal, average level, right, mentally. Like, I'm assuming that everybody in this situation, both men and women, are mentally stable. It's just more of a mindset of choosing to be, to stay average or become super. Right? So that kind of factor. So if you're a woman and if you're a woman that's okay with average, then hey, you have a lot of guys to choose from. Have at it. You do you, girl. But if you want above average, you want super, then yeah, you need to work harder than a woman that, will the term is settle now, right? But it's not settle. But a woman who would choose average, who will be grateful for average. And you should be grateful for average. Because more likely, an average man, since he's average, he doesn't want too much. He doesn't expect to have too many options, right? Like he's more simpler than a Superman. Superman, has more options. Therefore, his decision making is a little bit more complex because there's more options. So he has to weigh his options. While an average man has less options, therefore his decision making is simple, straightforward, more decisive, because he doesn't have to think twice. He'll clearly choose the better option among the options that he has. So if he only has 2 options, pick the best within that. You can say the same for a Superman. Superman has 10 options, he'll choose the best one. But the thing is, if 9 out of 10 are the best options, they're almost equal, then it gets tougher. Because if they're almost equal, it's like, well, he could choose any of the options and it'll be a good option. But maybe he might want to reconsider. Might want to consider other factors other than those 9 options being obviously good options. And that's what happens when you're a Superman, is that you have way more options, way more factors you have to factor in when it comes to your choices. An average man more likely will just have 2 choices. So he has to pick between 2 choices on average. That's why he's known as average, right? So let's see. You know, ladies, average applies to you as well. For you, it's less about resources. It's more about cooperation. It's more on the mental aspect. You know, the mental of an average man versus a Superman. You know, you gotta take into account that a Superman can literally afford anything. Right? He's a Superman for a reason. He can do anything and everything. So the thing is, how you, whether you're average or you think you're above average, what can you do for a Superman that a Superman can't do? That's what you always have to take into account. If a Superman can afford multiple houses, then, you know, you having a house is irrelevant because he could afford better. If he makes 10 figures, or just let's say 7 figures. If he makes 7 figures, and let's say you make 6 figures, 6 figures is nice, but he makes 7 figures, he can afford more than you. Therefore, your money is irrelevant. It has no use to him because he already has something. So you bringing money into the relationship is pointless because he already has money. He already has that. So you always have to think of, like, when you interact with another human being, think of in your mind the metaphysical, the metaphor of a table. What do you bring to the table? The idea is you gotta bring stuff to the table to fill the table up with different things. So it doesn't make sense that if there's already a bowl of potato salad already on the table, it doesn't make sense for you to bring another potato salad, another bowl of potato salad, right? It's already there. The idea is to bring something different to the table. That way there'd be variety, and that's the whole point. So what do you bring to the table for a Superman? If he already has, let's use a birthday party as an example, if he already has the cake and the ice cream and the forks and plates and stuff to be able to serve out the cake and ice cream, well, if he already has that, do you think it makes sense to bring cake and plates and cups and stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like to bring the stuff that's already on the table there, ice cream and stuff. It don't make sense to bring to the table what's already on the table. It makes sense to bring what's empty, what's not there, what's missing from the table. That's the whole idea of what you bring to the table. You have to bring something that is not already there. So and that analogy with the cake and the ice cream and the plates and spoons, right? Drinks. You could bring cups and drinks. You could bring that to the table, right? Because it's not already there. Might as well bring that. Party favors, you know, hats, little birthday hats, right? You know, things like that. So you can bring to the table things that aren't there yet, but are beneficial and accompany. Is it? No, it's not company. Is complements. That complements everything else is already there. It doesn't make sense that what you bring to the table is a stripper pole, it's a 5-year-old birthday party. I don't think a strip pole would be appropriate for this. Now, obviously, for a grown-ass man, that wouldn't be a bad thing to bring to the table. But what I'm saying is, like, you got to bring something that is useful for what's already on the table. So, if on the table is stuff for a birthday party, it makes sense for you to bring stuff for a birthday party that's not already there and bring that, so that way it can be a full birthday party, right? That way the table can have all the stuff necessary to conduct a birthday party. Same thing as in, if a man can afford to pay bills, has a house, car, blah blah blah, all types of stuff, but he's always so busy, so he can't do laundry, he can't cook, or he doesn't know how to cook, or just in general, the idea that he typically orders out and that's not healthy for him. For example, just as an example, like, he eats fast food, so it's not good for his health. So obviously, you can provide laundry service for him, right? You can clean his clothes for him. Along the fact that you're already cleaning your own clothes, might as well clean his, at the same time. Help him out with that. But also the fact that you already know how to cook, right? You already eat healthy because you don't eat junk food every day. So why not look out and make him something to eat, right? Something healthy, something that isn't junk food. Plus, you can also save him money. That's another fact of cooking, is the fact that you can make sure that he's not spending a lot, because we know junk food, one, is not healthy, and two, it's overpriced. So if you can cook stuff that is healthy and cheaper, you're doing him a justice. You're doing him a useful service. You're providing something to him that he doesn't already have. He doesn't have, healthy, cheap food to eat. He has expensive, unhealthy stuff to eat. So you're bringing something to the table that he doesn't have. So you're making the table better by replacing stuff that wasn't good in his life. Like, let's say he's an alcoholic. Well, hopefully he's not, but if he is, if you're capable of getting him off the alcohol and make it where he's not an alcoholic, one, you're saving him money because he's not wasting money on alcohol. Two, he's not an alcoholic, right? Because you made him stop drinking, so he's no longer being an alcoholic, right? Among other things. There was a time where women thought about improving a man, getting with a man and help him be better by literally showing him that there are better ways to do so. That's why, traditional women were always the best. Always will be the best compared to these modern women. Modern women are not better than traditional women. Because traditional women brought stuff to the table. Stuff that that did benefit whoever she was with. So she was beneficial to the man, and the man was beneficial to the woman, because he was able to bring stuff to the table that otherwise she might not be able to bring to the table. So she made sure that he was useful to her, and she made sure she was useful to him. That's the whole symbiotic relationship. That's the whole, relationship thing. That's the whole marriage thing. It's that y'all complemented each other. Y'all benefit each other. Y'all complete each other. You're one half of the equation, right? That's why, when people get together, as a couple, two becomes one, as they say. It's we do this, we do that, we like this, we like that. It's not I this, I that. There's no individuality when you're in a relationship. When you're in a relationship, it's a we thing. It's an us thing. Everything's about we and us. It's us versus the world. It's not us versus each other. And that's part of the problem in the modern day with modern women, for example, is that modern women are making it us versus them. Us versus us, right? When it's supposed to be us versus the world, right? The world functions a certain way. The world is tough, hard, harsh, whatever you want to call it, right? Well, you and your man work together against the world. Y'all work together to benefit each other, to survive together, till the day y'all die in this world. Teamwork makes the dream work. Problem is, women don't want to be part of a team because they're not willing to follow. You know, they want to be the leader, but don't realize that they're not equipped to it. They're not the best at it. If they were, then they would always have. Like, thousands and thousands of years, women followed because men were better at leading. It was just that's how it is. Plus, you know, men's size and strength and stuff like that are important factors. Women took advantage of that. Took advantage of the fact that men were bigger and stronger, so they can do a lot of the physical stuff that the women themselves can't do. The women were more the logistics stuff. They were more the logic, well, the thinkers, the brains of the relationship. Not necessarily logical. Obviously, they're more emotional than logical, but they were still the thinker. Like if they felt that, you know, that a bigger house would be better, then they will relay that idea to their man, husband, right? That be a good idea to get a bigger house. Then the man makes, you know, that a reality. He goes out and puts in the effort to get the bigger house that she, you know, viewed as a good choice, a good idea. Be a good idea to get a bigger house, you know. And men, out of love or respect or whatever you want to call it, men out of love for a good woman will do more. He will try to be better for her because he feels that she's worthy of that extra effort, because she more likely would have earned that by she does for him. The more you do for him, more likely he'll want to do more for you, on average, right? So that's why picking an average man is a good choice to start off with, because there's a higher chance that that average man will become a Superman, and it's just because you were with them, because you know, you were there when they were average. So you'll still be there once they become above average, once they become super, and that's the kind of stuff you want, right? Because if the ultimate goal is to be with a Superman, you know, most average men do become super. So try to find an average man that has potential to be super. What I mean by the potential is that he already looks like he wants to upgrade himself, that he already has plans and goals to go from average to super. And if you want to be part of the journey, want to support him, help him, and make it easy for him to go from average to super, then do so. You will benefit from that transition, from him going from average to super. That is a much more logical route to go than the whole go straight for a Superman route, hoping that you can just look around and be like, oh, that's a Superman right there. Let me go talk to him. He'll definitely pick me. No, he's not, especially when he has options. He's more likely going to choose other options more often than not. So that's the thing. A Superman is more likely not to choose you than he would choose you. An average man would choose you. An average man will accept you because you chose him, right? Because you gave him attention, you gave him a shot. You're like, yeah, sure, let's be boyfriend, girlfriend. And then over time, he's like, you know what? I want to do better. I want to be better. Then he starts going on his path to become super. And you were there from the beginning, and you'll be there till the end. Right? That's the way it should be. That's how it's always been for thousands of years, that most women usually pick guys who had the potential to be better. And, you know, it worked out a lot. But after a while, some women, you know, just started chasing guys that already were perceived as better. in certain regards, and they were better in those regards, but a lot of things about those types of guys wasn't always better. Not every Superman is a hero, right? So it's very important to know the difference and to figure out how to tell the difference between a Superman and a Superman that's more likely to be a villain, right? You want a hero, not a villain. So the good Superman, not the bad Superman. So you got to know the difference, and that's important to find out the difference. That's why if you deal with an average man, at least you got more time before he becomes super to get to know him and to get to know what kind of Superman he's going to turn out to be once he does reach the Superman status, right? Will he be a good Superman or bad Superman, right? A hero or villain in your story. So you need to learn how to get better at figuring that out, better at knowing that. I wish I could just say, hey, man, if a guy, has a house, car, and over $1 million, then he's a Superman and he's a great guy and he would never do you wrong. Blah blah. I wish I could just say that. I wish I could just say, hey, if this guy has all these things, this little laundry list of things, he's the guy for you. I wish I could just say that, but it doesn't work out that way. A lot of times, what the guy has, what the guy does, it's not enough to be the right guy for you. A lot of times you might try to do everything that the guy wants, and it might not be enough because there's a high possibility you're probably not the right one for him. You have to understand that can happen. A lot of people like the idea of absolutes. Women definitely want to believe in the absolute ideal. They either believe all men are trash or all men are awesome. And neither one of those are true. Majority of men are good, majority of men are trash. Same goes for women. Majority of women are awesome, majority of women are trash. You have to figure out, which one is which. And then choose. If you like trash women, then hey, there's plenty of them out there and go enjoy your trash women. But, there's going to be a lot of good women out there. So, know the difference. Because I do hate it when there are good quality women, but they end up dating trash men, and then those trash men ruin and damage the good quality women and then turn the good quality women into trash women. And that's unfortunate. And then the trash women look at good men as if they're trash. Because, they got this whole general idea like, all men are trash. Like, no. The men you dealt with were trash. You were a good woman. Yes, you were. But now you're not. You allowed the trash man to turn you into a trash woman. And now you look at every man, including a good man, as trash. See, that's the point. Your viewpoint was skewed. Your perception of reality was affected by your poor decisions. You couldn't determine and figure out early and get out of a bad situation early when you were with a trash ass man. So you need to do better. That's why I say the whole hashtag do better, ladies. You do need to do better. You need to do better at picking good men. This whole idea like, nah, this guy's fault. They need to be better. The thing is, there already are better men. There already are tons and tons of awesome men, and most of them are average. Not Superman, they're average. A lot of great average men. But you ladies ignore them. Friend zone. Don't even notice that they're there because you're not paying attention. You're too busy looking around, looking for guys with capes on, like, oh, he's awesome. Oh, he's awesome. And then find out that, surprise, I'm actually a villain. Yeah, villains have capes too. Dumbass. That's how that works. Like, you gotta know the difference. You gotta know the difference between, between good and evil, as they say. So do better, Try. The main thing is at least try. I hate that when I hear women making excuses not to even try. Like, why am I doing? I gotta try to find a good man among all these men. Why can't all men just be good? And we'd be thinking the same thing. Why can't all women be awesome? Can't all women be good? You gotta understand that both sides have good people, bad people. So this whole like, why can't all men be good is like that you're asking too much for that. And not surprised. You are a woman, so of course you're gonna ask for more than what logic dictates. Obviously, in order for you to know, because here's the funny thing, like, for a good man to be good, there has to be bad men. That's how you know what a good man looks like, what a good man is. Now, of course, in a perfect world, in an ideal setting, it would be awesome if all men were good, right? All women were good, because then that just makes things simpler. But the thing is, life ain't simple. Life is complicated. Life has variables, differences, right? Women will be quick to be like, oh, that's what every woman has her mind of her own and different personalities and blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, all women are 100% different. That's what you're trying to say. But for some reason, all men are the same. That don't make no sense. You can't have one gender that's like, yeah, we're all the same, right? You know, we're all the same. There's nothing different about us. But then be like, the other gender, oh yeah, there's difference. There's so much different variety of personalities and thoughts and blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's confusing. We need things to be more the same, right? More balanced. So within the female side of the race, there needs to be more common things, more things that are the same. Therefore, if you want a lot of good guys, you need a lot of good women. And what we men see as good you can't be like, you know, snapping your fingers, catching attitude, masculine, talking about you a boss ass bitch and all this stuff, you know, and have that type of personality and attitude and think that equals an equivalent to a good man. It's like, no, that personality, that type of traits equals the quality of that's a bad woman in our viewpoint. Therefore, that's equivalent to our bad guys. So good guys are not going to want bad girls. Will we tolerate them? Will we deal with them? It's hard to avoid them since they're pretty much everywhere, right? They're becoming more common than they should be. And being a good girl, good quality woman, is becoming more and more rare. So there's that. But we would like it where the balance shifts, where there's more good guys and more good girls, right? And it's all about putting effort. No one says, and none of these YouTube channels on the internet talk about, women need to do better, blah, blah, blah. Women are creating certain problems and stuff like that. They're not trying to say that men don't do things wrong, don't make mistakes and don't do wrong things. It's just that we do less wrong things, right? So it's more obvious what we do wrong. But women tend to do a lot of different things, and a lot of those different things can add up to a lot of wrong things. So it gets more complicated in that regard. So it's like, ladies, you need to be simpler. You need to tone it down. Simplify things. Figure out like 5 things you want from a guy, because he's already going to have a list of 5 things he wants from you, and then try to come to a mutual agreement. This whole thing of you having 20, 30 different standards, while a guy only has 5 standards or even 3 standards, that's an imbalance. That's going to create problems. Ladies, y'all need to improve on. You need to figure out what's truly valuable, and then ask for that. And then men who want to give you those 3 or 5 things, all right, there you go. You just reduce the selection from millions of guys to hundreds of guys, which is a much smaller and simpler number to work with. Now you have hundreds of guys as options instead of millions of guys as potential options. So you narrow it down to the best. So these hundreds of guys are the best among the million. So whatever you choose, it'll be a better choice than if you randomly chose from the 1 million guys, because you can mathematically, there's a higher chance you'll choose wrong. So the idea is that you need to simplify your standards, lower it even, from a high perceived, you know, desire or want, and go from what you need more than what you want. That's another thing. Men, their list consists of what they need from a woman. A woman's list is what consists of what she wants from a man. She wants a man to do this. A man just like, okay, all I need is these basic fundamentals. For you to be nice, for you to be attractive enough for me to get horny, and for that horniness to be relevant, aka sexy time, right? Those three simple things. Not asking for too much, just asking for those simple things. So your list should be the same. It should be simple. You need money, bang. He'll try to have money, you know, as much as you think is needed. He'll put in the effort to try to get as much as he can. You need the ability to travel. He'll try to get a, you know, travel credit card, among other things. Try to get a whole bunch of perks and stuff that will make it easy for him to travel. He'll try to work a job where he spends less time at work, so he can spend more time traveling the world with you. You know, he'll try to do stuff like that. If that's what you want. If that's what you want, if that's what you need. Men are practical, so men tend to do things that they need. They tend to focus on things they need more than they want. You know, men want a lot of things like women, but we value our needs more than our wants. Our wants are temporary. We know our needs are permanent. What we need, we will need for a long period of time. So we rather put priority on our needs over our wants. Women put their wants over their needs. If a woman had to choose between going on a trip to like Paris, or pay her rent, she'll choose to go to Paris. If she gets to choose, especially if she gets to choose without a consequence, right? Without a drawback. If she can choose between paying her rent versus and not end up homeless, yeah, of course she'll choose to go to Paris. It's like, hey, I could go to Paris and still, you know, have my apartment. Yeah, I'm definitely going to Paris. Yeah. But a man would think differently. A man's like, I don't think I want to take the risk that this could be too good to be true, that I can go to Paris and not end up homeless. No, there might be a possibility I might end up homeless. This might be a trap. This could be, I could have bad luck. Like this could be too good to be true. Therefore, I would choose to pay my rent, and then try to work hard. That way, next time I could do both: pay my rent and go on the trip. That sounds more logical. Sounds like a safer route to go. A woman would choose the least safe route, a route that could end up negatively, which is why most women end up in bad relationships, because they tend to make decisions and choose things based off of criteria that aren't logical. They're just things she wants. So if a guy fits a lot of what she wants, then she'll want him, but doesn't realize there's things that you need for the relationship to work, to last long, but you didn't check to see if he had those qualifications for what you need. What if you need him to have a penis and it turns out he didn't even have a penis? Because for some reason he was born without, something happened to his penis. You should have checked to see if he had one, right? Especially if you need him to have one. Stuff like that. Just like it's important to know if a man was born a man. If he wasn't born a woman and then transitioned into, that's an important detail that you'll want to find out. Another thing you want to find out is if he has a criminal record, if he has a wife, or another girlfriend, something like that. These are things you need to find out first. Women should put more effort to make sure that the man is what she needs / wants, than to just focus on what she wants. And if he provides some of those wants, then she just blindly gets into a relationship. And the thing is that the expression "love is blind" really only applies largely to women. It can apply to some men, but not not a lot. Most guys, one, they make a decision of getting with a woman based off of what he sees. So clearly, men, when it comes to love, they're not blind. They love what they see. So love is not blind when it comes to a man. But love definitely is blind when it comes to a woman because she makes a decision based off of how she feels, not necessarily based off of, you know, logic or certain factors that can cue. Because I'll literally see a girl staring at a guy. I'm like, okay, she likes him, but he's a bully, or he's a, he's a he does crack, or he's a drug dealer or something. Like I'll notice stuff about him just by looking at him that she doesn't see. Like she sees him as like a Superman, right? Amazing guy, but doesn't real. But I see him like that's a villain over there. That's a bad guy over there that you're in love with. If you love bad boys, that's on you. But you know the consequences for loving bad boys. Bad things tend to happen. So good luck with that. But even right in front of you, right? Something that be obvious to me, like, oh, he's obviously untrustworthy. But a woman will see a guy, the same guy I'm looking at, and see something totally different. See him as the most trustworthy person in the world. Like, oh, he's not trustworthy. He's a liar. He steals. There's a lot of things about him clearly don't know. And if you want to know more about him, I can answer those questions if you ask me. But you don't care what I have to say. You'll probably, if I told you the truth about him, you'll probably be like, I'm just jealous. You're just mad because you're not my type. Like, okay, whatever. Thinking that that is a factor for why I'm telling you that he's not good for you. It's like, no, I'm telling you he's not good for you because I know for a fact he's not good for you. But hey, go ahead. Good luck with that. Enjoy making a mistake that I tried to warn you.